he just broke the story that Mike Trout has signed an extension with the Angels. Good contract or bad contract?
Really good contract. I felt like I had to start there. I'm sorry.
No, please.
No,
Stay there.
It's a good contract for both sides, and it's absurd to think that when an athlete is being paid more than any other athlete has been paid in history, and by a pretty substantial margin, you can say that it's a good contract for the team, but the numbers don't lie. The Angels TV contract is $3 billion, and Mike Trout is off to the greatest start of anybody in baseball history. And that's not an exaggeration. The first 8 years of his contract through age 26 have been more productive on an individual level than anybody out there. So $430 million, it's it's actually going to be more than 430. It's $100 million plus over Bryce Harper. It's $65 million plus over what Canelo Alvarez got from DAZN. I mean, it is an enormous figure, and I think the Angels rightly believe that he is worth every penny.
Doesn't he have to win championships for this contract of his not to be a failure on some level for the Angels?
That's a very fair point. And I think we can look at it like this. Mike Trout got the deal without having won a single playoff game. And that shows that, hey, individually he's worth it. But this is where it goes back on Artie Moreno. And Artie Moreno has shown a willingness and a capacity to spend. Albert Pujols, $240 million. Josh Hamilton, $125 million. C.J. Wilson, $80 million range. Gary Matthews Jr., $55 million, I believe it was. These were all varying levels of debacles of contracts. And so it's a matter of, can they build around Trout? Because as we've seen, this guy who's putting up 10 wins above replacement a year, which is just absurd numbers, the idea that he hasn't won a single playoff game means they haven't built around him. And so I think it's almost incumbent on the Angels at this point. And a good thing that's working for them right now is their farm system for the first time in a long time is actually pretty solid. They've got a kid named Joe Adell who's 19 years old. He's going to be in the outfield with Trout probably by next season. They've got some pitching depth, but they need more. And when you have somebody like Trout, when you have him locked in for the next 12 years, you damn well better build around him.
Can they build around him, though, now with this contract?
Sure, of course. I mean, look, the average annual value is going to be about $36 million a year. The Angels are not anywhere close to exceeding the luxury tax threshold at this point. And you know what, guys? Even if they did, they should, because they're in a major market. While I know they're not the Dodgers, they're not the marquee team there, there's no reason when you have somebody like Mike Trout in his prime years that you do not do everything possible in your power to go out and win a championship. Because the truth is, Mike Trout at 35 is not going to be what Mike Trout is this year at 27. And they need to recognize that these years are the ones that they're really paying for.
Jeff, we have about a minute here. Eventually, the 58-year-old fan won't care as much as a 58-year-old today. Does Major League Baseball understand that? Do they get that?
I sure hope so, Sir. Because if not, they are running the risk of falling back even further than they have in the sports pecking order. And I think it's a difficult balance to strike, right? Because you have a sport that's so steeped in history that really has made its bones on being the sport that doesn't change a whole lot. And so change is a difficult thing to stomach. But I think that people at Major League Baseball and the Players Association recognize that there is a demographic tsunami coming at them, and that if they don't change things very quickly, then that puts the sport in peril long term.
The phrase made its bones. Do you have any idea where it came from? Can someone tell me how it is that bones were made? Do you know, Passan, or not?
No freaking idea, Dan. Sorry.
See you later, Jeff. Thank you for being on with us. You brought it again, brought it strong. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, boys.